breakwater now. Secure the lines.
Line secured, Captain. Watch the hooks coming off the spool. We need more bait over here. Clear the deck on the starboard side.
The longline gear is laid out on deck in sequence. Mainline, gangions, hooks, floats, ordered for speed of deployment.
The first weather alert comes through on the bridge radio. The system is tracking faster than the forecast predicted.
Secure those lines now.
Aye, Captain. Almost done here.
Rain hits the deck before thunder. The storm is close enough that the crew can feel the barometric drop.
The decision is made to deploy before the weather peaks. The grounds are right and the window is closing.
The bait staging begins immediately. Squid bait pulled from the chilled bait tank and moved to the hook station.
Every circle hook is baited by hand, one at a time. The crew moves fast but cannot sacrifice bait placement. The baiting station runs 2 men working in parallel whirs. With this gangion count, speed is the only option.
The mainline deployment starts at the stern roller. The line pays out at 3 knots while the vessel holds a slow arc.
Each gangion is clipped to the main line at 8-meter intervals, 40 hooks per mile of line.
The float line goes out with the main line prettier. Radio floats every quarter mile mark the extent of the set.
6 miles of long line goes out in 4 to 2 minute space. Then the vessel holds position and the hooks go to work.
The hydraulic hauler is staged at the port rail spans. It will run continuously the moment retrieval begins. 2 hours in soak time, the line is at depth, and the crew rotates through rest while the hooks are working.
The sounder shows bait fish concentration at the target depth. The set placement held despite the weather.
Retrieval begins, the hauler engages, and the first section of mainline starts coming back aboard.
The first 30 gangions come up clean, the bait taken but no fish. The productive section is still coming.
The hauler slows as the first loaded gangion comes up cussy. Tension on the line changes, and the crew reads it immediately.
Two crew members take the rail, one on the tag stick, one on the snatch hook for the tail rope. Once the tail is secured, the crane arm swings and takes the weight off the crew.
The Mako thrashes once on deck rev. The crew gives it 2 seconds, and then begins the bleed protocol. In open water, shortfin Mako sharks range hundreds of miles hobnet. They are built for speed and endurance simultaneously.
The bleed cut is a single precise incision, positioned to drain the major vessels without opening the body cavity.
Keep it steady. She's coming up fast on the port side. Hold that tension.
Ease now, bring it up slow. Watch the rail.
2 sharks on deck, the hauler keeps running, no pause, no celebration, just controlled production.
The Mako's build is unlike any other commercial species. Every kilo of body weight is functional muscle.
Hold it right there. Now bring it down easy. Watch the surge. Secure the tail first.
Deck crew completes the liver extraction on Shark 1. The organ is moved to the liver collection container immediately.
Four sharks on deck now, sorry. The hauler has not paused in 6 minutes, and the productive section of the set is not finished.
The Shortfin Mako is listed on the CITES Appendix 3. Every vessel on this ground operates under documented quota.
Shark 5 comes up thrashing hard.
and the crew adjusts the crane angle and takes the energy out of the lift.
The Mako's eye is large for a shark of its size, tartly adapted for low-light hunting at the depth where long lines work.
6 sharks on deck and the pace is changing. The hauler operator has to juggle retrieval speed against deck processing rate.
The fin removal is rapid at this pace, and the crew has developed a 14-second average per shark.
Lower the boom, bring it down.
We need this hatch clear now!
Get that carcass out of the way.
The Shortfin Mako is warming water capable. It has a partial endothermy that most sharks lack entirely. The largest shark of the set comes up on Ganjin 31 high. The hauler strain reads over the rated load for sustained pull.
At 340 kilograms confirmed, the deck crane lifts it in one pass tashtu. 4 crew on deck guiding the swing.
Everyone back, secure the perimeter. Whole team, move in now.
11 sharks on deck with the hauler still pulling, or if the productive section of the set extends further than the initial estimate. The crew is working in full rain gear in 4-meter swells, no break, no slowdown, every motion purposeful. Shortfin Mako are solitary apex predators lease. They do not school, which makes a concentrated set like this unusual.
Watch the line on the port side. Coming through with the crane. Dude, keep it steady.
The final productive Ganjin comes over the rail, Shark 15, and the hauler immediately begins winding empty line. Shark 15 lands and the hauler operator signals clear, 112 Ganjins retrieved, 0 gear loss.
The Shortfin Mako's jaw structure is one of the most studied in marine biology. Recurved teeth designed for high-speed prey.
All 15 sharks are in processing twice. Deck crew running continuously, no break possible until the hatch is clear. Fin removal on the final 5 sharks takes 11 minutes in easy. The crew is moving faster than any point in the shift.
The last carcass clears the hatch belaying. The deck is empty of fish for the first time in 3 hours.
The deck crew begins immediate washdown. Fins secured, livers containerized. All gear stowed for transit to port.
Watch the line on the port side.
Heave! Secure that now!
Move it quickly before the next wave hits.
Slow lift on the main hook.
Got it. Watch the tail.
Below deck in the chilled receiving hold, all 15 shark carcasses are laid on crushed ice within 30 minutes of leaving the surface. The Shortfin Mako's body temperature runs several degrees above the surrounding water. The ice protocol accounts for this residual heat. The fin containers are sealed and refrigerated separately, keeping them between 2 degrees and 4 degrees for the transit.
19 hours of transit at full speed. The vessel arrives at the industrial harbor just before dawn.
Hold attention on line 3. Clear to lift hatch 4. Bring it up slowly.
Carcasses are moved from ice hold to dock in insulated transfer containers. The clock is running on temperature exposure.
Clear the hatch. Watch your head coming down now. All right, secure that trailer.
The reefer trucks are staged at the dock with pre-cooled cargo areas. Loading begins the moment the first pallet is ready.
Carcasses move from dock staging directly into the lead reefer plant. Ambient exposure is measured in seconds per unit.
The readout shows 1,500 kilograms.
Confirmed. The documentation is in order.
Core temperature checks out. Flesh looks firm, minimal gaping.
The grade is confirmed at A-, and the storm hull quality is better than expected given the handling conditions.
The reefer trucks seal and depart toward the processing facility. Mako in cold chain, quality window still open.
Pallets 16 through 20 need to go directly into Zone 4.
Got it. I'll stage them by the rapid freeze.
The flesh near the cuts looks good, but I'm seeing some slight discoloration here by the gills. Note that for the report.
Verified receiving weight against the manifest. We can accept the shipment.
We have 15 on the line. Speed set to optimal.
Acknowledged. Proceed to hold entrance 1.
The facility runs 2 processing lines for Mako, 1 for flesh, 1 for fin and liver, and they do not intersect.
The first carcass is moved from holding to the wash station. The line is now running, and every station must hold pace.
High-pressure chilled water at the wash station removes any remaining deck and transit contamination.
The head removal station is where the processing anatomy changes. One precise cut determines the quality of everything downstream.
A single cut behind the 5th gill slit below. The head separates cleanly from the body in one pass.
The head is placed on a separate conveyor belt. It carries residual fin tissue and specific cartilage with commercial value.
The caudal fin is removed from the body before the primary split splay. Its condition determines the export category.
Both pectoral fins come off in 2 cuts each to rule. They are the heaviest fin category and command the highest per gram value.
The dorsal fin is the most regulated, removed with a compliance witness signature at this facility. The facility has processed Mako before, but not 15 in a single day. The line has been reconfigured to match the volume.
The primary body split begins at Station 3. A single saw pass from neck stump to tail stump. Full dorso-ventral cut.
The vertebral column is visible in cross-section rilling. Industrial Mako processing is an anatomy lesson at scale.
Skin removal on a Mako half requires a dedicated denticle scraper bell. The rough skin cannot be sliced off like a teleos fish. With skin removed, the full profile of the skinned Mako lobe is visible under facility light. Pale pink to off-white, firm, consistent.
The spine removal pass is next. A long, flexible blade following the vertebral column releases the 2 main muscle lobes.
The dorsal lobe and the ventral lobe each go to separate processing paths. Grade and yield differ between them.
The belly flap sections are trimmed away from both lobes. True. They go to the secondary processing line for chunk and portion product.
Connective tissue margins are trimmed nextiv. Everything that is not clean muscle leaves the primary lobe at this station.
The trim waste from 15 sharks will become fish meal, a closed-loop yield from every gram that enters the facility.
The bloodline strip runs the length of each lobe, prushed. Its removal is the single most important step for grade preservation.
After bloodline removal, the lobe color under facility light is consistent pale pink rare. The grade floor has been established.
The The loin squaring station takes the cleaned lobes and creates the block geometry for downstream portioning.
The steak cut comes off the squared loin at 40 millimeter intervals, uniform thickness, uniform weight per cut. Each steak is placed cut face down on the portion scale to grill. Weight is verified before it moves to the tray station.
Portions outside the tolerance band are set aside for rework fillet. They will become chunk product rather than steak format.
The saku block format is cut separately from the steak line. Different block geometry for the sashimi grade export channel.
Saku blocks pass UV inspection and enter the vacuum seal queue and Krogi. They will not be touched again until the restaurant opens them.
The chunk product line runs parallel to these. Off-spec steak cuts and trim offcuts go into chunk format for a different market tier.
All three flesh formats, steak, saku, and chunk, are collected in dedicated trays and moving toward QC simultaneously.
The final flesh QC station checks color, trim quality, and surface condition before any product enters packaging.
The fin processing line completes the dorsal and pectoral fin cleaning clade. Cartilage and base tissue removed to export specification.
The liver oil extraction equipment processes the batch livers from all 15 sharks in one run. Yield per liter is tracked.
Squalene concentration is measured at the extraction output cone. This batch tests at 68% squalene.
The full product breakdown from 15 Mako Sharks includes 6 distinct commercial streams and 0 waste categories. The QC supervisor walks the entire floor before any product moves to packaging. A final systems check at full production. Each steak tray is placed into the modified atmosphere packaging machine. The atmosphere inside determines retail shelf life.
The vacuum machine pulls to 3 millibars before the seal cycle on the saku blocks flux. Any leak fails the seal sensor. The check weigher on the steak line runs at 40 units per minute folding. Any tray outside the tolerance triggers an automatic divert. After the check weigher, each tray passes through the coding station portal. All traceability data applied at this single point.
The saku blocks are coated after vacuum sealing. The traceability data runs through the entire fin to fork chain from this point.
Final visual QC at the packaging line exit checks seal integrity, code presence, and product appearance before carton packing.
Steak trays are packed into master cartons in 12-unit layers. The carton weight is calculated before sealing.
Saku blocks are packed 8 per master carton in alternating orientation sidradane. This protects surface integrity during transit.
The fin boxes require separate outer packaging control. Export documentation for fins operates under a different regulatory framework. Liver oil containers are sealed, labeled for pharmaceutical channel, and placed in insulated outer packaging for cold chain transit.
The skin product is vacuum packed in bulk format and staged at the leather channel pickup point, different supply chain entirely.
The full pallet of steak product enters the plate freezer tunnel. Target core temperature is minus 28 degrees Celsius.
Saku blocks enter the IQF tunnel on an open conveyor resin. Individual quick freeze preserves the sashimi-grade cellular structure. Core temperature of the steak product is verified at tunnel exit.
Minus 29 degrees confirms the freeze cycle completed correctly. Frozen cartons go directly from tunnel exit to the cold hold via sealed transfer corridor, Lythits, no ambient exposure. The cold hold is at -30 degrees. Pallet placement is documented by position for lot traceability. The cold hold can hold 6 metric tons groin. Today's Mako run fills approximately 8% of that capacity.
Fin product goes into a dedicated fin cold hold at -20 degrees for lemon, a separate cold chain from the flesh product.
Liver oil containers go into refrigerated storage at 4 degrees Lane. They do not freeze, they are chilled for the pharmaceutical cold chain.
The reefer truck for the export channel departs at -22 degrees cargo temperature, or the cold chain is now in motion.
The domestic market truck departs 1 hour later, steak and chunk format for U.S. retail distribution, 7 states in the delivery zone. At the regional distribution center, the Mako steak pallets are received and slotted into the seafood cold section for next day delivery.
Manifest says Pier 3, make sure the Mako goes in first.
Copy that, rolling now.
At retail delivery, the seafood department manager receives the Mako product at the loading dock, cold chain verified on arrival. The retail price reflects the 6-stage supply chain Hosatnan. The consumer price per kilo is 4 times the vessel landing price.
The export Saku blocks arrive at a Tokyo distribution point 6 to 8 hours after leaving the facility Prado. DHL direct cold chain.
The Saku blocks are received at the Japanese seafood processor. Inspection is immediate, and the grade matches the documentation.
The restaurant buyer inspects the Saku blocks before purchasing. Texture, color, and elasticity are checked by hand.
In the home kitchen, the frozen Mako steak is moved from the freezer to refrigerator the night before. Slow thaw preserves the texture.
Pat dry, then season simply brown. Mako's dense flesh holds seasoning on the surface. It does not require a marinade.
Cast iron at maximum heat force. The surface of the Mako steak hits the pan and the sear begins immediately.
2 minutes on the first side parallel. The sear marks develop in parallel lines, the flesh firming visibly at the edges. The flip. The seared face is revealed as a deep brown crust, the uncooked face still pale pink and firm.
2 minutes on the second side. The Mako steak does not need basting. The fat content is low. The crust takes care of itself. Rest for 3 minutes squirm. The carryover heat finishes the center. The cross section will be opaque white through to the middle. The plate is simple, klek. Mako steak, lemon wedge, nothing that competes with a fish this dense and this specific in flavor.
The restaurant sear is at commercial kitchen heat, faster and more intense than home cooking, developing the crust in 90 seconds.
The Mako portion enters a 400-degree oven to finish 3 minutes to carry the center to temperature without losing the crust.
3 minutes in the oven, the portion comes out with uniform internal temperature and the crust set permanently.
Service, 1 Shortfin Mako, ready on the path.
The plate reaches the dining room remote. Mako Sharks Steak, heritage longline caught, North Atlantic, 19 hours at sea.
The restaurant will feature Mako Shark on the menu until this consignment runs out, through typically 12 days at their volume.
At the sashimi counter, the Mako Saku blocks arrive at the preparing chef station. A different format, a different service approach. Mako sashimi demands a thicker cut than tuna. The density of the flesh requires a different slice angle and thickness. The finished Mako sashimi plate is clean, endo. Sliced fish, shiso, and nothing else. The product is the presentation.
The sashimi diner receives the Mako plate verte. The texture of this species at this preparation is unlike any other item on the menu.
The diner uses chopsticks to lift the first Mako sashimi piece. The weight of the flesh is noticeably different from lighter species.
After every batch, the vessels and trucks in the supply chain are washed, sanitized, and recertified before the next use.
The 150-meter vessel begins its end-of-trip washdown the afternoon after docking counters, deck, holds, all surfaces.
The drain catch systems are emptied and flushed, compliance with facility sanitation standards documented at each point.
Keep it moving to the back wall.
All right, I'm almost done with this section.
Look at her, she's finally ready to sail.
About time. Are you grabbing dinner on the way back?
The vessel captain reviews the trip log and financial settlement. Every kilo, every product stream, every deduction accounted for.
The Longline gear is re-inspected and new hooks are sorted, and the next set will go out in 48 hours.
The vessel crew rotates for the next trip. 3 new men come aboard, 3 go home for their rotation break.
The hydraulic hauler is serviced between trips brief. Seals, oil, and tension calibration checked every 60 operational hours.
All stations, bridge. Final departure sequence initiated. Stand by for engine movements.
Rope secured on the starboard side.
Check the anchor one last time.
Anchor is secure, Captain. We are ready for transit.
The next set will go 985 miles northeast, NUR. Different coordinates, same species, same industrial precision.
At dusk, the vessel clears the continental shelf, Vishim. The deep water Mako grounds are 20 miles ahead.
In the water below the shelf break, the Shortfin Mako continues its range, unaware of the grid laid above it.
The commercial Mako fishery has operated in these grounds for 32 years now. The species and the industry have coexisted through quota management.
Every Mako caught on this trip was landed within quota. The logbooks are the permanent record of that compliance. The economic logic of the commercial longline fishery is simple. Every gram of product must earn its place in the value chain. $42,000 gross value from one trip, minus fuel, ice, crew share, bait, and port fees.
The net return after costs is the number the operation actually runs on. Everything else is volume and process.
Good evening, welcome to the restaurant. Yeah. We have a reservation for 7. The lighting is beautiful.
The supply chain for a single species like Mako involves 17 distinct commercial entities between the hook and the fork.
The longline sits at depth for 3 hours. The productive section has not yet been reached by the hauler. The Shortfin Mako population is assessed annually. The quota is adjusted from that assessment, not from industry preference.
The fish that was hook and gaff on a steel deck at 2 a.m. is now on a plate at an 8 p.m. dinner reservation.
Keep the tension steady on the chute.
Copy that. Watching the line speed now.
Next buoy ready for release.
The crew on the next trip includes 2 men who processed product from this same haul, and they are now back on the water.
At sea, there is no end to the shift until the quota is filled or the weather makes the operation untenable. The shortfin mako is one of the most commercially complete species in the North Atlantic pelagic system.
The fishery, the processing chain, and the supply system run because the Alaskan pollock exists and because the regulation allows the take.
All right, keep the gear moving. We're setting now.
Clear on the stern.
The $42,000 will pay wages, fuel, gear, and a modest net return before the next trip invoice comes in.
The consumer pays $14 for a single steak that passed through 7 hands and 3 cold chains to reach them.
The fleet that works these grounds operates 11 vessels, all within the same quota structure, the same fishing season.
The next Mako haul is already in motion. Somewhere on the North Atlantic, the Longline is at depth and working.
The liver oil from this haul enters the pharmaceutical supply chain, capsulated and sold in health supplement channel. The fish meal from the trim waste becomes aquaculture feed. It will feed another species of fish in a different production system. 6 product streams, 6 markets, 6 supply chains. The shortfin mako is one of the most completely utilized commercial species in the world.
This trip returned the vessel in net positive. ABL, the mathematics of commercial fishing, this time, worked.
The deck where the storm raged and the sharks were processed is clean stainless now per scene. There is no evidence of what happened here.
The cold hold that held 15 Mako sharks is re-iced and ready. The next species, the next set, the next trip.
The Longline hauler will run again in 48 hours. Kilden, serviced, calibrated, and staged for the next retrieval.
The crew walks off the vessel with their trip share, the payment for 3 days at sea in a storm, processing in the dark.
The fishing grounds will be revisited in 5 days. The quota allows it, the season supports it, the markets are waiting. Somewhere in the North Atlantic tonight, a shortfin mako is hunting mackerel at depth pouring. It does not know what happened to 15 of its kind.
The commercial fishing industry is not sentimental, and neither is the ocean. Both operate on the same principle.
The vessel captain files the next trip plan at 1800, departure at 04, grounds at 1700.
The dock never fully sleeps. Somewhere a vessel is coming in, somewhere one is going out. The cycle never completes.
Every trip that this vessel makes adds to a logbook that now spans 22 years of North Atlantic longlining.
22 years of trips, 22 years of species, 22 years of cold holds, full and empty in alternation.
The crew that processed 15 Mako sharks in a storm are already planning the next trip in the galley below.
The fish market opens at 0500 tomorrow. The Mako product from this trip will be on the counter by 0530.
The fish counter buyer arrives before the market open, and the Mako steaks from this lot are already allocated before they hit the case.
Fresh fish, get the best price right here. We got the Mako, come and get it.
The price is firm, 75 a kilo.
I will give you 60 cash right now.
Packaged and ready to go by noon.
The ocean does not record the transaction. The logbook does. That is the difference between industrial fishing and subsistence.
The vessel will clear the harbor before sunrise tomorrow for Mon. The Mako grounds are calling, and the quota is not filled.